Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Angela Bacon Grimm, and I am the author of Illegally Innocent and the Anorexic Experiment. And today I'm going to talk about my novel writing process. So I am not an outliner. I have tried to do that a little bit before, and it just isn't my thing. So when I wrote Illegally Innocent, that was my first book that I self-published, I did not follow this formula. But I decided to try something a little different when I wrote the Anorexic Experiment, and I liked how it turned out. I liked the path that I followed for writing it, so I'm actually trying to follow a similar path for my current work in progress. So I just thought I would share this with you. I write 5 drafts, and the first draft is kind of what I would call a bit of like a junk draft, as far as it's not anything I want anybody else to read. I have a general beginning point and a general ending point, and I have a few plot points that I want to hit along the way, but I don't have any of the details worked out. I don't really put a lot of time into descriptions or into dialogue, anything like that. It's almost like a little bit of stream of consciousness type writing. As I have ideas, I put them on there, and I do have a target word count in mind. So like with Anorexic Experiment, I wanted to make it to at least 40,000 words, because 40,000 words is considered to be the minimum number of words for a novel. Most novels are longer than 40,000 words, but if it's less than 40,000 words, that's typically considered to be a novella. So I knew that I wanted the Anorexic Experiment to at least be novel length, so I wanted to make it to at least 40,000 words. So that was my target word count, and then I also wanted to make sure that I had some semblance of an ending for the book as well. So that's kind of how I know that my first draft is finished, is that I've tried to hit like the main plot points. I've at least hit my target word count, if not beyond, and there's some semblance of an ending. So in the final draft of Anorexic Experiment, it was longer than 40,000 words. I think it was about 48,000. But for that first draft, I just want to make sure I hit a target word count. So like I said, my first draft, nobody reads it. I would be super embarrassed if anybody read it. It's just more for me to get all my ideas out there. And then the second draft is when I start organizing those ideas a little bit more. So I still don't spend a lot of time on descriptions or like different little details that would be important to the book. It's just more like I might rearrange things in the plot. Like if I decide that something that's more towards the end of the book, oh, this would work better towards the beginning, I might move that around. Fix obvious grammatical errors, because in the first draft I tried to not really censor myself as far as grammar errors either. I just kind of try to get it all out there and not worry about it. So kind of fix obvious errors, and just in general turn that second draft into something that I am okay with, like a family member reading. So with the Anorexic Experiment, my husband Mike was the one person that read my second draft, and then he gave me like big picture feedback on it. I wasn't really looking for anything like, oh, like this tiny description doesn't work or anything like that. I was just more looking for like plot feedback and things. So the third draft is when I actually take time to fix the descriptions, fix the dialogue, take Mike's feedback and incorporate that into making the plot better, fixing more grammar errors. Basically anything that I or Mike identified needed to be fixed, I would fix. And by the end of my third draft is when I am comfortable with other people reading it besides just my husband or another family member. So at the end of the third draft, I ask for beta readers, which beta readers are just, they're people who read early drafts of a manuscript and give you some feedback. So they're very, very important, and I appreciate all of their hard work. And anyway, so I get several beta readers, and I ask them for feedback on things like what parts are boring, what parts are confusing, and just then also in general if they happen to notice any other general edits that need to be done. So after I compile all of that information from people, I do the fourth draft. I incorporate much of the feedback from my beta readers, especially if there was more than one person that gave me the same type of feedback, then that would generally definitely be something that I would change. And so I take all of that information. The fourth draft it's basically the book is done by the end of the fourth draft. However, I still do one final fifth draft, and this is where I go over the manuscript with a fine-tooth comb. I may read part or all of the manuscript out loud, just to kind of check, what if I used the word "the" 2 times in a row, or if I tend to use certain words repeatedly throughout a manuscript, and I don't always notice it until the very end there. So, like, for example, a word that I use a lot is "actually," and so that's one thing I check for in the fifth draft is how often am I actually using the word "actually," and then try to eliminate every other use of that or insert a different word in there or something like that. So that would be something that I do. Or just kind of make sure that I've spelled all my characters' names consistently throughout the book and that I'm using the correct names for people. I will also, in this fifth draft, check for proper spelling and punctuation of brand names. So, for example, in Illegally Innocent, Pop-Tarts were referenced, so that would be one thing that I would look up and be like, okay, where's the proper capitalization for this word? Is there supposed to be a hyphen? Is there not supposed to be a hyphen? That sort of a thing. So I would double check all of my brand names. And just kind of anything else really tiny like that may have gotten missed in all of those first few drafts. So once I finish that fifth draft, then I am ready to start the formatting and publishing process. So anyway, that's just kind of what I do. Like I said, I'm not a big outliner. I know that works really well for some people. Maybe at some point I'll try it again, but this 5 draft system works really well for me. Maybe this will help you too. I don't know. But if you have a specific process for how you write, I would love to hear about it. So if you could put that in the comments below, that would be awesome. And if you enjoyed this video, if you could please hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed already, if you could also hit the subscribe button, that would be amazing. So thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.